You're listening to Power Talk, Berkeley Electric Cooperative's official broadcast about the cooperative, our communities, and ways to use energy wisely. And now, let's join our hosts for today's episode. Good morning. This is Mike Aponte, the communications guy with Berkeley Electric Cooperative, bringing you yet another edition of Power Talk. Welcome to everybody, and welcome to Miss Libby Roig, my faithful co-host. How are you doing this morning?
Well, you know, Micah, my pants are fitting tighter, and, it must be January.
January, and that means that we have made it an entire year.
Yeah.
An entire year of Power Talk, 29 or so episodes, I believe. That's quite an accomplishment.
I know, yeah. Just sharing lots of information with our members and the World Wide Web.
Well, speaking of another accomplishment, we have in studio with us our colleague, Miss Peyton Dress, and her accomplishment has been staying out of 29 episodes of Power Talk an entire year. But I'm sorry to say that your streak has come to an end.
I know. My luck ran out. 2024 is not off to a good start.
Finally got her in studio, folks. Well, since she's new to the show, Miss Peyton is our digital media specialist. She's been with us for about how long now?
May will be 2 years.
2 years.
Yay.
And half of it spent dodging us here on Power Talk.
Yep.
It's been 2 glorious years. We have an embarrassment of riches as far as talent and knowledge in the PR, marketing, communications team at the cooperative. So I'm very glad to be joined by my 2 colleagues today.
Well, Peyton, now that you're new to the Power Talk team and
Got your mug.
got your official mug, but our listeners haven't had a chance to meet you yet. So why don't you give them a little bit of a background about who exactly is Peyton Dress?
You make me sound so mysterious. I'm not that exciting. So I grew up in the Charlotte, Lake Norman area, North Carolina. So I've lived in Moncks Corner for about 3 years now, and worked at the co-op, like we said, for about 2 on this team. So happy to be here. I've worked in marketing and communications since college. It's just I've always been in some role, some shape or form. And I love what I do. I think it's a good mix of a bunch of different things, and I know we say other duties as assigned here. So I definitely get my fair share of experiences, but wouldn't change a thing. I love the low country, love living here, and it's just been great.
So you married a local guy.
I did, and that's what brought me down here. We met in college, and drugged me down here.
Ditto. Actually, same way I ended up down here.
Yep.
Met my wife in college and moved down to Moncks Corner back when it was a sleepy little town. It's not quite so sleepy anymore.
Yeah.
No.
It's grown considerably over the time that I've been here.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of things that have grown. We're talking about town growing, co-op's grown, and one of the other things that's grown along with the co-op is our social media presence, and we're sort of taking a behind the scenes look, peeking behind the curtain of our marketing and communications function today here at the co-op. Might not sound like the most exciting topic, but there's a lot that we can do that we have fun with and we want to share with folks. And we definitely consider our jobs, have a service component. We want to be able to make sure that our members are educated about what's going on in the community, what's going on at the co-op, certain things that are going to impact them. We want to be able to get them the information as soon as possible. And Libby, we sort of like try to go to wherever our members are.
Yeah. We serve a pretty large territory. We're the largest cooperative in the state. But, we serve portions of the Tri-County. A lot of people think we just serve Berkeley County because of our name. But, no, we're all the way out to the islands, Kiowa, Seabrook, Wabamala, Johns Island.
Yeah, all the way up to Pineville, Cross, and on all those areas up around Lake Moultrie.
Yeah, Ondahl, the National Forest, Goose Creek, Moncks Corner, of course. But, that is diverse territory, as far as the land we're serving, urban, rural, but the people who live in those areas are equally diverse. So we know there's not just a one-size-fits-all. You can't just run a full-page ad in the newspaper anymore. You've got to really roll up your sleeves and be creative because not everybody wants to engage with their utility, but because we're a member-owned cooperative, we really have a lot of education that we need to get out there about how we're different from other utilities And for our members to engage, we really legally count on our members to come out at least once a year and vote on the board and any bylaw changes. And so we really work really hard to reach our members and get that engagement that we need and we want.
Well, and engaged and being engaged and come out, they do. I mean, for those of you who did come out to the annual meeting and who might have kept up with it in our South Carolina Living magazine and other media platforms, we set another attendance record this year. Co-op just keeps growing and the membership grows right along with it. I think we had somewhere in the neighborhood of 13,600 members who drove.
Give or take.
Yeah, give or take. We're not counting or anything. Who drove through over those 4 days of voting and to elect their board members. Like you said, that's a very important part of being a member-owned cooperative, is giving our members a voice.
An annual meeting is a great example of how things have changed. You know, I started with Berkeley Electric in 2020, so COVID immediately changed things for us. But, you know, back in the day, we had the nation's largest cooperative annual meeting. And
in person, yep.
Yeah, and, you know, it was very much a festival fair environment where we did important business, but there was a lot of other things that you could engage in. And a lot of people miss that we now do the drive-through, but a lot of people love the drive-through. So we definitely miss that face-to-face with our members and are still striving to figure out a way to replace it in some way. And I think probably at the end of the day, we'll figure lots of little get-togethers probably adds up. But, you know, we hear from our members that they miss seeing us at the fairgrounds and that engagement that they had with us.
And, you know, and we're talking about, you know, the way things have done. And, you know, South Carolina Living and some of our other media platforms we've used extensively. We continue to use them. But take the magazine, for example, that I'm the main editor of. It's got long lead times.
Oh, yeah.
So it makes it a little bit difficult to share current news sometimes because we're 2 months ahead by the time that the magazine is, you know, you get the January magazine. We wrote that back in November, December sometimes. So it can really be a long lead time. Same thing with TV. You know, you got to set up productions and crews and, you know, write scripts and billboards. All of that takes a lot of time, a lot of lead time. Great way to get information to our members. But, you know, the digital aspects definitely give us a little bit more of that punch, that immediacy. We can let folks know exactly what's going on. You know, we've got our website, our social media, email, but, you know, Peyton, out of all the various forms of our digital outreach, why do you think social media is special to the cooperative?
So I know we kind of mentioned it earlier. We try to meet our members where they are. And I think just this day and age is so digital. And everyone's got a smartphone in their hand, in their pocket, in their purse. And just having immediate information when you want it. I think that's the big appeal of social media. And even if you don't have every platform out there, I know there's a million kinds of social medias now, that you have one or two, and you can find us on 4 or 5 different platforms and the website, obviously. But I think just being where members are and being easily accessible, that's a huge, huge draw to social media. And that quick turnaround of information, and it doesn't matter their age or demographic. We've seen members of all kinds from all over our territories are on social media and engaging with us and liking and commenting and reaching out. So it also allows that two-way conversation and that interaction. And we get messages of all varying degrees.
At all times of the day and night.
Yes, it is. There are no rules on social media, and we definitely see that. So just being able to give that quick response, if they just have a brief question and don't want to call in, just, hey, where can I find the link to this energy tip, or where can I find more information? We can just pop on over and send them a link on Facebook. Not a big deal. And then another big draw is our employees. It's another way for them to engage and kind of share their day-to-day with their family and friends. So I know we do a lot of events with the community and our employees, and just being able to post pictures and their families can see, like, oh, they're linemen, but they also get to go play with some puppies, and just a little foreshadowing there. But so it's just a good way with work anniversaries and our 12 Days of Christmas videos, just to involve our employees as well, which might not be a normal thing people would think of with social media and information. And then just being able, like Micah said, to get information out quickly. I think if there's any kind of outage, I know storms are a big time. We add followers, engagement, being able to post, okay, we have this many members out. We have crews out here working. This is where we're at. So it's just a quick, easy way to get information out to people that are checking. And if their power's out, their TV's not working, they can turn to social media and see how their power, where it stands. And then just reaching a huge volume of members. We talk about touch points a lot in communications and marketing, and having as many touch points as possible helps retain information. And you just kind of hit them over and over and over again. Eventually it'll stick. So I think social media is just another way you can get information out 24/7 to members.
And over time, we say that, our social media presence has grown, and that's definitely been the case here at the co-op. Back in the good old days, I was
before the internet or after the internet.
Ooh, she said it.
We like
somewhere after the black and white TVs, transistor radios, that type of thing. Yes.
We have a range of ages in our department, and
she's calling me old folks.
I'm not too far behind you. So Peyton does probably bear the brunt of the older folks in the department picking on her and sharing mostly some pop culture references. But we did joke coming into this show that Mike and I could reflect to a time when the internet did not exist.
That is true.
I can't say the same.
I mean, seriously, I was in high school, I think, junior or senior, and my high school English teacher, hey, Janice Blocker, assigned us kind of a scavenger hunt of the internet because it was so new, and she was trying to help introduce us to it. And so you had to go and find this URL and I don't know, print out the page or something and just prove you found it. And but it was a very different world.
Yeah, that was back when pictures would load line by line by line. So you'd sit there and wait 3 minutes. You got halfway through the picture to see what you were actually really trying to look at. So, yeah, those were the good old days.
We were so much more patient back then.
But I mean, our social media presence has grown. Like I was saying, I was the guy who started our Facebook page way back in the day. Now we've got Peyton, and I've become Peyton's alternate. That's my other title here at the co-op now.
Yep.
But
don't forget it.
We're chasing down our good friends over at Ori Electric. They've held the crown for a long time of having the most Facebook likes and followers, here in the state out of the electric cooperatives, and we are finally closing in on
their heels.
Exactly. So yeah, Jennifer, if you're listening, that's our breath you feel breathing down the back of your neck, because we're getting real close. So if anybody wants to, go to our Facebook page and like it so we can finally catch up with them.
And shout out to our good friend Penelope Henson, who also used to work at Berkeley Electric and went on to Ori Electric. Right. So, but she planted a lot of seeds for our department that we're seeing the fruit of.
And we're not just on Facebook though, right, Peyton? You said we've got some other, platforms out there. Where else can you find Berkeley Electric Cooperative on the World Wide Web?
So, we have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, which is now X, and LinkedIn has very quickly become a popular channel for us, very, very quickly. And you can also find us on YouTube, where you can watch this episode. So YouTube's also growing very quickly, and it's exciting to see how different all of the platforms are and the audiences on each. But we're everywhere. So
you can't get away from us.
Yep.
Well, folks, if you're just tuning in, we're about halfway through the show, and we're talking social media. So we're talking about Facebook, Instagram. Follow me on Snapchat, by the way. Not just kidding.
MySpace.
Actually, never had a MySpace. I had to skip right over that.
I can't remember if I did or not. Lots happened between now and then.
Well, I mean, we're talking social media, and social media is a lot of fun. But the main point that we want to use our social media for, we want to definitely let folks see what we do besides just keeping the power on and what it takes to keep the power on, sort of behind the scenes look, but education for our members about how the co-ops differ from other utilities and how we're here to serve our members. That's some of our regular messaging. We want to make sure that the folks out there know, and the folks listening, that, as a cooperative, we are a little bit different from your other utilities. We are not for profit. We return our margins at the end of the year as the form of capital credits, which is something that's a little bit unique in the world of utilities. Not too many other folks are giving you money back at the end of the year, even if it doesn't amount to a whole lot sometimes.
Yeah. Hey.
But it's something. And the other part of it is that we're member owned. So we want to emphasize those differences that what makes us an electric cooperative. But of course, at the end of the day, folks really want to know how to save money on their bill. That's one of the main messaging points that we try to get across. But what else, Peyton? You're the one who's got your fingers in the pie. It's probably changed a little bit since I was typing on the old keyboard. And,
typewriter?
Yeah. Okay, folks, this is getting off the
fax
rails.
machine.
We're going to be editing that part out. But, sorry, my pager went off. What type of posts have the highest engagement on our social media platforms?
So I think easily anything with people. That could be our employees, our members, community, anything where you can put a face to the message. It typically does very well. And I think that's just part of telling the story of what we do, that we're more than just a utility. It makes us a little more relatable to everyone when you can see, oh, there's the lineman out there fixing our light after a storm, or, oh, there's the lady that helped me at the cash register or at the window the other day when I paid my bill. So it just putting a face to the name makes the story a little more clear, and rather than just here's another energy tip and here's an outage update and bad news. You want to see some good stuff in there too. So
or who's that good looking guy behind the voice on the radio? Let's out.
Sure, that too. That too.
It takes all kinds.
Well, give us some examples. All right, if my example that wasn't good enough, what are some good examples that that people are really sort of keying in on?
So I know last year we had a post kind of blow up. It was of one of our contractors actually working at a site, and a little boy had kind of walked outside to see what was going on. He saw a tractor out there digging, a backhoe, and lots of noise, and he took his own little dump truck out there and was watching and kind of looking up at the lineman doing the job. And it was just a really sweet picture. I'm probably not doing it justice describing it, but it's on our Facebook page. Go follow and find it.
Yeah, see for yourself.
But the cool part about that was an employee actually sent me that here. Shout out to Edwin Harvey. And a member had sent that to him. So I think just that connection makes that picture special, is that it came from a mom sending that of her son to one of our employees that had helped her on the job, who then sent it to me so I could post it. So just a really sweet story there. But and then our linemen obviously do well. We've done some recent lineman recruitment videos focused on Michael Pinkney. He's been here probably about 20 years, I think, and just a well-known, charismatic guy, contagious smile. So we recently did a video with him, and that post did very well, just his friends and family and everyone he's helped over the years. And
Mike, you're famous.
He is. He's also in the 12 Days of Christmas videos every year, so Mike's awesome. And then we do giveaways too, and our Amazon teacher wish list giveaway we do going back to school, and we're also doing one we did one over Christmas for just a restock, kind of a mid-year before spring
teachers.
semester starts. So those giveaways, and then 12 Days of Christmas, which CS sponsors, that always does well. People always really look forward to that. So just it's a wide variety of content, but that's what, when we say we don't know, sometimes it can be all over the place. You don't know what people are liking at the time.
And what I'm clearly biased, but what I love about our giveaways is a lot of for-profit businesses, retail businesses do giveaways to help pull you into their stores, that sort of thing. But ours is just a perk of being a member. We love our teachers, know how tough they have it, so we want to give them $100 to help in their classroom. Or hey, Christmas is coming. Here's some wonderful gift packages that, our wonderful colleagues put a lot of thought into buying and putting together those packages. But there are no strings attached. We want to just share some joy with people on our social channels.
And I get a lot of comments because I'm normally the one contacting the winners of these giveaways and helping them organize the pickup. And people are so grateful, and they always are like, "Wow, you have the best job ever! Like, this is so fun." I'm like, I mean, this is definitely a perk. I get to give away hundreds of dollars worth of prizes to people for no reason. So, I mean, I get that more than you would think. Just, wow, you have the coolest job ever.
So they're like, yes, I do.
Yes.
Well, we talking about all the different types of things that we show on social media. And I mean, we definitely want our members to reach out to us through social media, share their experiences, share their concerns if they've got any, with the co-op, let us know how we're doing. We love to hear if one of our linemen has come out there and made your day by getting your power back on in a difficult situation. And we also want to hear if there's a potential hazard out there that we may not be aware of, because we got a lot of miles of line out there. And we can't have eyes on every single one of them. And our members are going to be our first point of contact for that type of thing. So definitely, reach out to us through any of our platforms. Peyton's monitoring them 24/7.
I do sleep sometimes, but
day or night. Her phone number is not.
No.
Just let Peyton know, in other words. But social media, it's a wild and wacky place. You never, sometimes you can spend a lot of time on a post or doing something kind of fun and exciting, and
Micah wouldn't know anything about that. Hours he's putting to some posts.
Still bitter about some of those, but
oh, me too. Don't worry.
And then something random, just takes off like wildfire. I think one of the things that was both of y'all's favorite was our little killdeer that sort of flew around the world.
For those who aren't familiar with killdeer, it's a little bird.
Little chirp chirp bird that it sort of acts like it's wounded to try to draw you away from its nest. And we had one take up residence right in the middle of our parking lot back in our Johns Island district office. And in case you didn't know,
truck parking lot.
It's our truck parking lot, high volume, right by all the equipment. And in case you didn't know, folks, it is a federal law that you cannot disturb those birds when they are nesting. So we actually had to sort of cone off the area, and we posted it on social media, and the next thing you know, it was everywhere.
Southern Living.
SouthernLiving.com,
India.
Yahoo. It literally made it all the way to India Times across the ocean, was shared by like 50 some odd networks. It was crazy. I mean, all about a little bird nesting in our parking lot. So it's crazy. I mean, I think it reached nearly 60,000 Facebook accounts. I mean, it was just everywhere. So,
So Peyton, tell us the secret to your success.
I wish I knew. I'd be a millionaire. I don't know if it was the slow news day that day. I genuinely have no words for how that blew up the way it did. I mean, it was tied into our co-op messaging of concern for community, which
right. And environmental stewardship. That's another one, folks.
Right. So, I mean, that's great. I mean, we're always trying to push the co-op messaging, but I mean, genuinely, I never would have guessed that little bird would have flown as far as it did for as long as it did. So
but it's another example of how our connections with our employees and the community help foster that type of content and that type of information, because we wouldn't have known about it had not someone from the Johns Island office called and said, hey, we just coned off this nest. And Micah, I think you went out and shot the photos and scheduled the post.
Right.
So.
But it also, it engendered some engagement from our local schools.
Yeah.
We had some local school children come out. They had made posters for the bird and, don't touch the bird, leave the eggs alone. But, I mean, it was a good learning experience for them. Got them, more aware of their cooperative. They got to come out and, drop off the signs and just sort of, they probably hadn't thought about that type of thing before. And so it just raised awareness and made some folks, who knows, we might have kickstarted an ornithologist's career.
Biologist, Never know. I mean, I had never heard of a killdeer before this post either. But, I mean, if you've lived in the low country and you are tuned into birds, I mean, they're common. My son's primary school playground had one that they, taped off, and I think he said a cat ate it, but ours, the eggs hatched. And,
they did.
Yeah, it was a success story.
Yeah. So fly on, little killdeer, wherever you are in the world.
Just don't come back next year.
Yeah, please.
Our guys in Johns Island would appreciate it if you found somewhere else to nest next year.
Because these are massive trucks. I mean, they are all very skilled drivers of them, but yeah, that's not a good place to put a nest.
I know. I talked to some of the substation guys right around the time this was blowing up, and they're like, "Oh, if we would have known, they're all in our substations and the gates where it's protected." He's like, especially Che. He's like, "You wouldn't believe we see these all the time."
Yeah.
He said, "I would have sent you a picture a year ago."
That's a great location inside a
didn't know.
substation.
Exactly. High security substation. This guy wasn't quite so smart, right in the middle of a parking lot.
No.
But he was our special little bird, or she was our special little bird, I should say. But, we mentioned earlier in the show that we do what we can to help improve our communities, whether it's for birds, school children, or just our members in general. And a lot of that effort comes in the form of sharing our platform. And, we've got organizations that come on this show. We like to have community leaders, other nonprofits. We like to hear about, inspiring stories like Jean's Angels that we had last year. We also try to promote other great causes. We just, like you mentioned, foreshadowing. Now's the time to come back to it. Fill us in, Peyton.
Yes, this was one of the most fun days I've had at work since I started here. So we took a few linemen down to the Berkeley Animal Center, which is about 5 minutes from the office. It's right down the road. And we thought, since October was National Pet Adoption Month, we could take some pictures, since our linemen typically do well on social media, and clearly animals do once we figured out the bird was such a success. So we're like, well, let's combine the two and get some linemen with the dogs. I mean, everyone loves dogs. And so we went out there one afternoon, and there were, I think, almost 10 linemen, and they each grabbed a dog and went outside and just spent the afternoon rolling in the ground with it. And
it's hard to tell who was having more fun, the dogs or the linemen.
It was a really fun day, and all I did was go out there and snap some pictures and schedule one post a week, and now we have requests for calendars with linemen and dogs. But it was just another way to partner with a local community member, the shelter, and just kind of use our platform. I know they have a pretty large one as well, but just to try and help move some dogs. I mean, no one wants to see a poor dog in the shelter, but it was a really good cause, a really fun day.
Yeah.
Engaged some of our employees that typically wouldn't be on social media, so it was a
win-win.
fun project.
Yep.
Yeah.
And speaking of social media, I did, make sure you go visit your local shelters, social media, see what's out there, see some of the needs that they might have. It wasn't too long ago, I think I saw a post from one of the shelters that we went to that said that they need just folks to come out and help walk the dogs.
Yeah.
So, I mean, don't necessarily have to take one home, but you can definitely help out in other ways. And, that's one of the ways that we're trying to, help our members and help our communities. That's the positive thing. Another thing that we try to help our members with and avoid, actually, is online scams. And unfortunately, through social media, you see a lot of that type of stuff. So, Peyton, why don't you walk us through a little bit some of the more common scams we see, and I guess what members can do to avoid that.
So we'll get alerted. The contact center will field some calls and kind of let us know that there's solar scams in their neighborhood, or people calling claiming that they're going to be disconnected, that Berkeley Electric's calling to disconnect their power if they don't pay immediately. And that's just never the case. We try and post on social media when that happens, just to kind of make you aware, stay vigilant. We'll contact you, and we'll never call asking for money. So just be vigilant, and they're out there. There's bad people. And then on social media, unfortunately, with our recent 12 Days of Christmas giveaway, we had a spam bot start commenting on our post and telling people they'd won and sending them a link saying, click it to claim your prize. And
enter your credit card information.
Yes.
Right.
And we would never do that. So just a little workaround and trying to ruin a good fun time. And we're trying to keep on top of it as best we can. But they're out there. So definitely keep your eyes peeled.
Yeah. And the thing with scams is we never call and ask for a live payment over the phone. We have an IVR system that you can call and make your payment. But certainly if you're ever uncertain about what's happening, just hang up and call your local office or pop by your local office. We're never going to call and ask for that kind of stuff. So.
Right. And then, like you were saying, we do have some in-person scams as well. People dropping off salespeople in neighborhoods, going knocking door to door, saying that they're representing the co-op. And the other part is, we really don't do a lot of door-to-door knocking. We will usually send you a message ahead of time, and we're never going to ask you to come in your house. So in any of those situations, just be sure, don't share any of your personal information. Look up the co-op's phone number. Don't use any number they give you, and just call us to try to get the most information that you can. But, don't want to end on a bad note, but that's about all the time we've got for today, folks. But thank you for tuning in to Power Talk. This is the official broadcast of your electric cooperative, and you can catch up on past episodes on streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple, and iHeartRadio. And you can get a behind-the-scenes look at this handsome guy on Berkeley Electric's YouTube channel. So until next time, this is Power Talk signing off.